what's up? I'm Ashley. Thank you for watching this video. And today, we're going to be talking about From Season 2, Episode 6. And let's get started. So when it first comes on, Boyd is apologizing to Kenny's mom. He's telling her that he's sorry for hiding Sarah and that he's just trying to keep everyone safe and get them home. But she didn't participate in this conversation. She didn't talk back. She just sat there staring at him the whole time. Then Kenny comes through the door and says, "What are you doing here? Really? What are you doing here?" Boyd gets up. He's like, "Don't even trip. I'm leaving." After that, Boyd goes to the church looking for Sarah, but she's not there. I wonder where she's at, because don't nobody want to see her. She don't have no friends. And I noticed that there's no chairs in the church anymore. So who took them out? There's no chairs in there, but it's a music box. And you already know Boyd gets mesmerized when that music box comes out. So the girl in the music box is twirling around. Then all of a sudden, there she go in person. I said, there she go. That's the girl from the music box. Live action. She starts dancing around the room, doing her little twirls and whatnot. And Boyd starts participating. He grabs her arm, got her twirling in a circle. And I'm like, okay, now what? Then she opens her mouth and these worms come out. She is sick. It looks like some type of fungus or something, but that looks like that could be what's underneath Boyd's arm. You know what? Get back in the box. Get back in the box. As this is going down, I'm thinking, why hasn't he ran out of there yet? But it all makes sense because all of this was all in his head, some kind of dream or something. And when he finally wakes up out of it, he has fallen down onto the diner's floor, hit his head busted open because it's bleeding now. And this means that he has never even left the diner. This was just really all in his head. He thought he had left the diner, went to the church looking for Sarah, but nah. He's been in the diner the whole time. He never left. And even though they're both mad at him, they helped him up. They gave him some water. He need more than some water, but they gave him some water. His mom's like, take him to go see Christy. And Boyd's like, nah, I don't need to go see Christy. I'm good. I'm good. He gets up to try to walk by himself, but he can't. He about to fall down. Kenny's got to help him. Kenny's like, nah, I'm going to walk with you. We got to go see Christy. Then we get to the colony house where we see Donna, Ellis, and Fatima. They're loading the truck up with food to get it out of the colony house so everybody won't eat it up, because all you see in the truck is what they have. That's it. Ain't no more. So they're getting the food away from the colony house and taking it to Kenny's mom's house. And before Donna drives off, Fatima asked her, what do we tell people about the food? Donna tells her, tell them a little bit. Don't give them too much at all. We don't want them going crazy. Then Donna drives off with that little bit of food in back of the truck. But before all this happened, we saw that the vibes were still off with Fatima. She was still giving Ellis the cold shoulder. I'm like, what's wrong with her? But we weren't the only ones that noticed the vibes was off with Fatima. This man that was standing on the porch, who we saw before, I believe Donna hit him in the face, I think. But yeah, this man was all nosy. I'm like, mind your business. He was asking Ellis. He was like, is there trouble in paradise? Mind your business. I'm like, why is he talking? I'm thinking this must mean that he's going to be playing a bigger part later on. And I was right, but we're going to talk about that later. Then we see Christy looking at herself in the mirror and playing with her hair. Then she starts looking into Mary's bag because she needs a hair tie, but she doesn't find a hair tie. She finds Mary's folder instead, and that's how Christy found out that Mary was on her way to rehab and not to her auntie's house that she originally told her. So they get into this argument. Then Christy goes to the medicine cabinet and starts taking the medicine out because she knows that her girl is a junkie. She's like, we're low on supplies, so I don't need you sneaking around this cabinet. So of course Mary is offended by this. She's like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to worry about me. So Christy's like, have you came in here and stole anything? Have you taken any of this medicine? Then Mary confesses. She's like, yeah, I took some morphine, but that was just to balance myself out. Okay, girl. Okay, girl. Mary tried to get dramatic and storm out of there, but Christy's like, where you think you're going? It's about to get dark. You can't go outside. That made Mary even more mad, and she's like, F off! And she goes inside of some other room because she knows she cannot go outside. After that, we see Boyd and Kenny walking through the woods, and Kenny is noticing that the leaves are different on the tree. So Boyd tells him, yeah, I noticed that too, that the leaves on the trees are changing colors and that they're falling off the trees. Kenny tells Boyd that he notices that he's walking better now and that he's going to leave. And as soon as Kenny turns around to leave, Boyd's arm starts hurting again. Boyd's like, ow, my arm. Kenny's like, what is it now? Then Boyd tells Kenny that when he went out to the forest, something happened to him that he can't explain or understand, but that now he has worms crawling inside of his arms, but he can't see them right now like he can usually. And Kenny's looking at him like he's crazy, and then all of a sudden there goes the music box again. And you already know what Boyd did. He started walking towards it. Kenny's like, where you going? Because remember, Boyd is the only one who can see this. Then all of a sudden, the bunker opens up and the ballerina comes out of it. And we've seen this bunker before. Jade was right here when he had his vision, and Victor was hiding in this when he was little. But when the ballerina gets out, she just walks up to Boyd and looks at him and walks away. And then that's when he snaps out of it. He looks at Kenny. He's like, didn't you see her? Of course, Kenny did not see her. He's thinking Boyd has lost his mind. But what's interesting to me is that the bunker door is unlocked. So who's been coming in and out of that? Back at the colony house, everyone is getting the house prepared for the night, covering all of the windows and booby trapping the doors. Ellis went up to Fatima and asked her if she needed any help, and of course, she brushed him off. She was like, nah, I don't need no help. So Ellis was like, are we okay? Are we good? And of course, she was like, yeah, we're good, just lying, and just kept on walking. We get back to the clinic where Boyd is trying to explain to Christy what Martin did to him. He's like, this guy put his bloody wrist on my arm and told me that his blood is now my blood, and that whatever was inside of him went into him. And of course, Christy is looking at him like he's crazy. She's thinking this man done lost his mind. He goes on to tell her that where this happened at, it disappeared after he did all that to him, and that now he has worms crawling underneath his arms. And Christy's like, I don't see nothing though. Kenny was waiting inside the other room, so when Christy goes inside, Kenny tells her that his dad started losing his mind just like this right before he got sick and things got worse. So he's thinking that the dementia that comes along with having Parkinson's that Boyd has is happening rapidly. Then we see Jim and the rest of his family, Donna and Kenny's mom, in the kitchen rationing out the food because, you know, there's no more left. Donna somehow thinks that that little bit of food could last them a whole year, but Jim is like, no way, this is barely a month's worth of food. What are you talking about? Then Jim goes on to say, well, this is just what the people would want. They would want us to stress and panic over food. And during the experiment, if this really is one, they would want to see how people would interact and act if they're hungry. Back at the clinic, both of Boyd's arms are now hurting. The music box pops up again. It's playing that same song. The ballerina is there too. The ballerina starts off as a shadow behind this curtain. When Boyd moves the curtain, she's not there anymore. She ends up popping up behind him, covering his mouth up. She throws him on the bed and she's trying to suffocate him. I said, oh Lord. When Boyd snaps out of it, of course, there's nothing there. But right after that, Mary comes inside of the room and that scares Boyd. He grabs his gun and he points it at her. She's like, oh, whoa. Boyd quickly apologizes. He puts the gun down and tells her that he didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. We finally find out why Fatima is mad at Ellis, and she tells him it's because what his dad did by hiding Sarah. Ellis is trying to tell her, but he told me not to tell anyone. And she's like, I'm not just anyone. So as they're doing this back and forth thing, they hear this loud outburst downstairs. So they run out to go see what's up, and in the kitchen, they see that the man that was on the porch, all in Ellis's business, was yelling at Elgin and some of the other new people because he thinks that they were sneaking food. He was like, we don't need these new people here. We don't have enough food to go around, and they're in here sneaking it. And Elgin is like, we weren't sneaking food. I was just putting food that was inside of my bag in the cabinet. I wasn't stealing nothing. But the bald-headed man wasn't trying to hear it. He's trying to force Elgin outside. He's like, get out, get out. So when Ellis comes downstairs with Fatima, they're trying to break it up. But the bald-headed man turns around and ends up stabbing Ellis in the chest. He's all like, oh, I'm sorry. No, sorry isn't good enough. Get in the box. You want somebody to go outside? You go outside now. So now Ellis is bleeding out. He is bleeding out fast. It's looking like a water faucet. So they're laying him on the couch. They're trying to apply pressure. But it's dark outside. They're like, what we gonna do? Then we see Boyd looking at Kenny's dad's blood. Then all of a sudden, Father Kotri pops up and he starts telling Boyd that he's proud of him because before he never would have asked for help, but now he is. And he tells him that everyone's story doesn't have a happy ending. Then he disappears and Boyd is about to walk out of the room. But before he can, Kenny walks inside and he says, who are you talking to? Boy's like, leave me alone. He said, no. Who were you talking to? You not leaving this room until you tell me who you was talking to. I have to make sure it's safe. Mary told us what you did. So Boyd finally says, Father Cotry, okay? I was talking to Father Cotry. He goes on to say, something happened to me out there. Now I got things in my body. I am scared. We get back to the colony house and they're like, we have to get him to Christy. So Elgin was the MVP. He ran outside to get the van at nighttime with all those monsters out there that could tear him apart. He drives it back closer to the house. They get Ellis inside of the car. Fatima is there too, and she's trying to apply pressure all the way to the clinic where Christy is at. She's like, go faster, go faster. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think you should. It's dark. You're in the woods. You might crash. But they made it there peacefully, and they get Ellis out the car. They're knocking on the door. They're like, Christy, Christy. Christy was in the middle of having a fight with Mary, but she goes to open the door. She's like, what happened? So they lay Ellis down, and she quickly gets to work. She needs assistance, but she's afraid to have Mary help her, and Boyd is noticing all of this. He's like, what's going on? This is my son here. Y'all better get it together. So Mary's like, I'll be okay. Just let me help. So Christy ends up letting her go to the supply closet and get everything that she's going to need. Ellis was saying that he couldn't breathe, so that meant that Christy had to make a puncture wound to release all that pressure, and when she did, blood went everywhere. While this is happening, Fatima is in the other room worried that she's going to lose Ellis, but Boyd is calming her down, and while that is going on, Christy walks in and lets them know that Ellis is going to need a blood transfusion. So she tells Boyd, come on, let me get your blood so we can do this blood transfusion. He's like, no, I can't give him any blood. I got worms crawling inside of my skin. So Kenny pulls out his gun. He's like, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. Then Boyd's arm starts hurting again. And this time, everyone can see the worms that's crawling inside of his arms. What a perfect time to show up, huh? Then Kenny says, give him to me. Give me the worms like the man gave you so that you can do this blood transfusion. We need to hurry up. Boyd's like, no, you don't understand. I can feel it getting stronger. I don't want this to happen to any of you. Then Boyd gets this idea to go outside with a knife and start calling out to the monsters. And when they finally show up, they just look at him. Then Boyd goes up to one of the main monsters that we've been seeing since season 1. Boyd cuts his hand, then he cuts the monster's throat, but nothing happens at first. The monster just keeps on smiling, and then Boyd puts his bloody hand onto the monster's neck on the cut that he just made and said, my blood is your blood. But still nothing was happening. The monster started to transform because he was about to take a bite out of Boyd until he finally fell down to the ground, and it looks like he could have died, but we don't know that for sure. I'm thinking he's probably not dead yet, not completely at least. Boyd runs back inside of the clinic, but that monster friends just looked at him and walked away. They're probably like, we don't know how to help you, so we're not going to even try. But since Boyd did that whole experiment, he's now able to do the blood transfusion because everybody knows what's going to happen. While all that's happening though, Mary is the only one not in the same room, and she's looking at that supply closet and she's thinking about going inside. They need to lock it up and hide that key. We get to Ethan and Donna, and Ethan is worried that this house is going to fall down too. But Donna is telling him that it shouldn't. Don't even worry about it because she doesn't think that his parents are going to go digging any more holes in the house. Then he's like, can I tell you a secret? And she's like, yeah, sure. So he tells her that his mom and dad doesn't think that he's scared, but really he is. He doesn't want to be on any more quests. He wants to go home. Donna tells him that it's okay to be scared and that she's scared too, but it's good to be scared. And then she starts talking about what her mama used to tell her. So it looks like Ellis will be okay. He can breathe again. But Fatima goes into the other room and starts crying because she almost lost him. Chrissy's like, but you didn't. He's going to be okay. And she's probably realizing that that fight that they had before all this went down was stupid, and that she was big mad for nothing because she could have just lost him. And she's also worried about those worms that's under Boyd's skin. She's thinking Ellis is going to get them too. But then she looks at Christy and she says, I promise not to tell anyone, but do you have any pregnancy tests? And Fatima could be out there pregnant. We do not need that. I hate in a TV show when there's an apocalypse or epidemic or something and someone ends up pregnant, because everybody got to watch out and look out for that baby. It's not just your responsibility. Everybody else feels like, oh, I gotta save the baby too, and then they end up dying. Then we see Boyd and Kenny looking out the clinic window at the monster. We don't know if it's dead or not, but we gonna find out in the morning. In whichever state this monster is in, whether it's dead or not, I feel like they're gonna start doing experiments on it, because even if it's not dead, they know how to slow it down for a while at least. But let me know your thoughts on this episode in the comments so we can talk about it. And if you haven't already and want to see more videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.